Hello and welcome to my new channel for making miniatures for tabletop games. My first couple series will be in response to conversations I've had with Reddit users about recreating their favorite tabletop characters. In this first series, I'll be creating Grakar, a wizened old orc chieftain. Grakar represents an interesting challenge to design because while this spry old orc wields 2 whips at a time, he has only one arm with which to wield them. His second whip is held by some kind of spiritual limb, and I still need to figure out just how I'm going to set that up. To begin with, I'm creating an armature for Grakar. For that, I'm using very fine 28 gauge galvanized steel wire. I'm using a single piece of wire for the whole body, and because it's so thin I can bend it back on its course and twist the doubled portions around each other. This gives the whole armature a bit more cohesion and gives it a lot of texture for applying polymer clay, which I'll do later on. And I can twist the leftover wire from forming the limbs around the body and head portions, giving them a little bit more bulk to start with. At this point, I've got the basic layout of the body complete. Now I'll just need to make the bends and snips to get it looking more like my designs there. As he's missing his left arm, I'll be snipping most of that portion off, but I won't snip it all the way off. Grakar's description of having some kind of spirit arm gave me the image of him not experiencing a clean amputation, but something more supernatural and traumatic that happened. The image I had in my mind is of a grittier situation where he still has some of the bone protruding from his shoulder stump there. I've clipped off the end forming his right arm, just past the hand length, then untwisted the length of wire up to his wrist. One length of the untwisted portion is looped around to form the base for his hand, and the other is bent away from the line of the arm, forming the base for his thumb. The hand and thumb will be bent around the handle of his first whip, which I've made off camera, and pinched tighter with pliers to hold the whip firmly. I'll be demonstrating how I made the whips on camera in a moment here. Here's the first whip, which I've made out of slightly thicker wire than what I used for the body. I made it with little flattened out portions that look like blades embedded in the whip. I flattened those portions out with a hammer and improvised anvil that you see on my workspace there. For precision, I used a bit from a screwdriver. Using this method, I've hammered out all kinds of shapes for minis, from swords and axes to strips of metal for armor or shields, and when necessary I'll use a rotary tool, a Dremel, to grind the hammered bits into shape. So now I have my armature all set up, and I'm ready to begin adding clay, which I will begin doing in the next video in this series. I hope to see you then. If what you've seen here in this video appeals to you and is interesting to you, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll keep making more videos. Thank you.